Hi everyone, it's Sandy and today I'm doing the Nope book tag. This tag was created by a booktube book and I wasn't tagged by anyone, but I saw my friend Mel from Books with Wings doing this tag video and I knew I wanted to do it. The questions for this tag are pretty long, so I'm just going to be reading the questions off my phone. The first question is a nope ending, a book ending that made you go nope, either in denial, rage, or simply because the ending was crappy. For this question, I'm going to go with The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. This book is a psychological thriller, and after all the build-up in this book, when the whole mystery was revealed, I felt like it was just very anticlimactic and I was pretty disappointed by how things turned out, so I felt like this ending was just a big nope. The second question is a nope protagonist, a main character you dislike and drives you crazy. I'm going to go with Shazi from The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. I don't dislike Shazi, but she did drive me crazy. The main and probably only thing that annoyed me about Shazi's character is how her relationship with Khalid was built. I am all for the enemies to lover trope. That is one of my favorite tropes to read about, but I didn't like how it was executed in this book. I thought the romance was very sudden. The way Shazi felt about everything was just kind of all over the place and it drove me crazy. So that is why I didn't really like this book that much, but I know so many people love this book, but unfortunately it wasn't for me. The third question is a nope series, a series that turned out to be one huge pile of nope after you've invested all that time and energy on it, or a series you gave up on because it wasn't worth it anymore. A series that turned out to be a huge pile of nope is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. If you've been watching my videos for a while now, then this answer isn't really a big surprise. I did enjoy the first book, but the series just went downhill as the books went on. As the series went on, I just didn't know what was happening anymore, like what were their goals, like what are they trying to do. I just wasn't as engaged anymore. Don't even get me started on the last book. I really did not like the last book. The fourth question is a nope popular pairing, a ship you don't support. I don't ship Alina and the Darkling. There are people out there that actually ship them together, but nope. I personally don't understand it. I would never in a million years ship Alina and the Darkling. I know a lot of people who have read these books don't like who Alina ended up with, but personally I really didn't mind. The endgame wasn't my preferred ship, but I don't dislike it as much as I do with Alina and the Darkling. And also there are a million other reasons why Alina and the Darkling shouldn't be together, but I'm not going to discuss that in this video. The fifth question is a nope plot twist, a plot twist you didn't see coming or didn't like. Plot twist that I didn't see coming but I actually liked is in Killer Instinct by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. The plot twist at the end of the book just blew me away. There are multiple plot twists in this book and each one just constantly blew my mind. If you haven't read the series, please check it out. The first book in the series is called The Naturals and it's like a YA Criminal Minds. It's a really great mystery thriller series and I highly recommend it. The sixth question is a nope protagonist action or decision, a character decision that made you shake your head nope. I want to mention two books for this question, and the first one is Little Monsters by Kara Thomas. This is another mystery thriller book and it follows our main character Casey, who moves to a new town to live with her father. She becomes really close to two girls and they pretty much do everything together, but on the night of a huge party, Casey is left out and the following day, one of her friends go missing and people become pretty suspicious of Casey. And in this book, Casey kept doing things that was pretty much asking for her to be suspected because she kept putting herself into situations that made it seem like she was the one responsible for one of her friends going missing, and it just frustrated me so much. I did like this book overall, but I had pretty mixed feelings about Casey's character because of her decisions, but it definitely was interesting to read from her point of view. Another protagonist that I wanted to mention is Desi from I Believe in a Thing Called Love by Maureen Gu, and I really love this book. I think it's wonderful, but Desi does make some pretty crazy decisions that I don't agree with. A lot of the decisions that she makes are due to this guide that she creates in order to get a boy to fall in love with her. She basically studied a bunch of K-dramas to create this guide, so a lot of her decisions are pretty dramatic and kind of extreme. I don't agree with them, but based on the context of K-dramas, I didn't really mind her decisions that much. The seventh question is a nope genre, a genre you will never read. I feel like never is a pretty strong word, and I don't always like saying I will never do this, I will never do that, because I don't know, maybe one day I will. But definitely for now, a genre that I probably won't read for a really long time is erotica, because that's just something I'm not into and I don't think that genre needs an explanation. But another genre that I rarely ever pick up a book from is historical fiction. A lot of the historical fiction books that I have read are books that I thought were like okay or didn't really like. There are definitely a few historical fiction books that I did like, but most most of them I just thought were okay. So that's just a genre that I don't ever really gravitate towards. The 8th question is a nope book format. Book formatting you hate and avoid buying until it comes out in a different edition. There really isn't a book format that I hate. I pretty much read from all different types of book formats, whether it's ebook, audiobook, physical print. However, I don't like mass market paperbacks, and I don't ever read from mass market paperbacks, but that's something I don't really have to worry about because a lot of the books that I read, which are young adults, are not printed in mass market paperbacks. And even though I do listen to audiobooks, I will never buy an audiobook because A, they're really expensive, and I don't think it's worth the money to buy an audiobook. A lot of the audiobooks that I do listen to are books that I checked out from Overdrive, which is connected to my local library, and that works really well for me, and I'm really happy with just using Overdrive and checking out audiobooks from the library. The 9th question is a nope trope, a trope that makes you go nope. I feel like this trope is pretty specific, but I hate it when one character pushes another character away, and that character is typically the love interest, and they push the love interest away in order to protect them for one reason or another. This does kind of fall under the whole miscommunication trope because one character isn't telling the other character the full truth because they think that once the whole truth is out, the other character will think of them differently, will hate them, or will be really hurt, or for whatever reason. And I feel like this always happens when it's so obviously clear that both of these characters have feelings for each other. This trope happens way too often, and it's pretty present in a lot of my favorite books, such as the Darkest Minds, the Lux series, and all of the Shadowhunter books. The 10th question is a nope recommendation, a book recommendation that is constantly hyped and pushed at you that you simply refuse to read. So I'm going to go with One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus, and this isn't a book that was necessarily recommended to me, but it is a book that I do think has hype surrounding it. It's a book that I will probably never read because I've heard things about it that makes me not want to pick it up. I'm not going to go into any of the details, but Trina from Between Chapters has a very great Goodreads review that explains basically all of the reasons why I don't want to read this book, so I will link that down below if you are curious. The 11th question is nope cliche or pet peeve, a cliche or writing pet peeve that always makes you roll your eyes. I'm going to go with insta-love. This is a trope that I really hate reading about, and the second that appears in a book, I will just automatically dislike the romance. The 12th question is nope love interest, the love interest that's not worthy of being one, a character you don't think should have been a viable love interest. I'm going to go with Will from The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. This book sort of has a love triangle, but I don't really consider it a love triangle. This book follows Molly, who has had 26 crushes but has never been in a relationship, and she has a twin sister named Cassie who's basically trying to set her up with this other guy. Once Reed is introduced, who is Molly's co-worker and the other love interest, how can you not ship him and Molly together? I mean, they are so cute and adorable, and I really love them. I didn't really mind Will that much, but I definitely didn't ship him and Molly. I still really love this book, and I definitely highly recommend it. The 13th question is a nope book, a book that shouldn't have existed that made you say nope. I'm choosing Sea of Shadows by Kelly Armstrong, and I really didn't like this book. I think I still ended up giving it like a 3 out of 5 stars, which I don't know why. Honestly, this is more like a 1-star book for me because I really didn't like it. I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was confusing. This book was just a huge pile of nope, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. The 14th question is a nope villain, a scary villain or antagonist you would hate to cross and would make you run in the opposite direction. I'm choosing Adelina from The Young Elites by Marie Lu, and Adelina is an anti-hero. Her powers are hella scary. She can create these vivid and powerful illusions that can scare someone to death, and I definitely do not want to cross her path because she can basically make you imagine something terrible happening to you, and I don't want to experience that because reading about all the things that she does do throughout the series just makes me want to stay as far away from her as possible. The 15th question is a nope death, a character death that still haunts you. Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare. Still not over it. Still not okay. Moving on. And the very last question is a nope author, an author you had a bad experience reading for and decided to quit. There really isn't an author that I read a book from and decided that I will never read any of their books ever again, but an author that I probably won't read a book from anytime soon is Pierce Brown, the author of Red Rising. I read Red Rising a couple years ago and I really didn't like it. I didn't really understand the world in this book, and I thought it was just really confusing that I couldn't find any piece of enjoyment from this book. I don't think Pierce Brown has written anything outside of the Red Rising series yet, but whenever he does, I'm definitely willing to give him a second chance, but I probably won't be doing that for a while. those are all the questions for this tag. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!